Alright, guys. I know I'm a little late to the topic. I was planning on making this video like a solid week and a half ago. Just haven't found the time to do it. So, um, I'm a little behind on all this, but I'm gonna give my 2 cents on the new Halo. So, from what I've seen via the videos and whatnot, it's very promising, actually. Apparently, it's like a major, you know, controversy right now because quote unquote Halo fans hate the new Halo, which I mean, sure I have some gripes about it too, but like it looks good. Um I'll get into like the what I do and don't like later on, but if for some reason you're, sleeping under a rock, Halo Combat Evolved is actually having its I'm not even considering Combat Evolved Anniversary as like an actual game. It's like a crappy reskin. Um, so we're not even going to talk about that one. So Combat Evolved is having a proper remaster. Um, in the sense that it's going to remain very faithful, but it's going to have a lot uh, of new changes, especially in terms of graphics. They're on the Unreal Engine now, which I'm 50-50 about. I do not like the Unreal Engine one bit, just because it's super buggy right now. In any sense, I don't remember what uh, version of the engine they're using, but even with my own experience messing with the engine and whatnot, it's pretty awful. And my biggest concern is, especially when it comes to PlayStation players, are they going to be able to reach like 60 FPS or something? Um, because I feel like that needs to be like the new mark when it comes to just console games in general, is being able to run at a 60 FPS or even like 50. But why would you know suffer losing that 10 FPS? You know. Anyways, I'm a little bit concerned when it comes to that because Unreal Engine is a beefy thing. It will run your computer because I'm I don't know many games right now that are using Unreal Engine, personally, especially when it comes to consoles. But dude, Unreal Engine is a beast. It looks amazing. It looks really good, and especially in the context of this new Halo, it's just very expensive when it comes to graphics. Speaking of, there's a lot of debate around I guess I'll get into this topic here now. There's a lot of debate around the overall Forerunner design, which of course I haven't made many videos on this channel, especially. I know I did on my last one, but I don't know if I made any specifically about CE. Anyways, the Forerunner design is one thing I can get behind people not liking because the I don't know, it is very shiny. It's almost hard to look at, and you know, the CE gave the vibe of like buildings that have been abandoned for so long. Like a quiet planet that nobody's really been monitoring. Uh, See what I did there? Um, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. Will it work in the game? Absolutely. Am I gonna complain that it's looking fresh out the wazoo over there when I play it? Maybe a little bit, just because, especially when you get into the later levels, like 343 Guilty Spark. Granted, most of it's underground, and some of the indoor things do look really good. Um, Specifically, and one I've heard other people mention is the Hunter Room. Whenever you get to the map, I believe, the actual cartographer. Um, Anyways, I feel like in order to you know contain that like horror vibe that 343 Guilty Spark, and not really two Betrayals because that was just more of like running and gunning. But I would argue the library, those definitely need to keep like the dark horror element, and I don't want to be looking at every wall like it's a mirror, you know? Oh, and another thing I noticed whenever I, like, repeatedly watched the trailer is some of the. It's nanite. I think they have the really bad, like, nanite, artifact when it comes to the surfaces, but that's just unfinished and unpolished optimization when it comes to specific like textures and whatnot. Overall, like I'm not a huge fan of the Forerunner design, but I'm not gonna be. That's not gonna be the downfall of the game if it ships out like it shows in the trailer. Another thing I want to mention is I've heard a lot of good things, referring to the flood levels specifically and the flood themselves. The flood, just from like the few like little glimpses we get, look really good. Even concept art, but that's just concept art. That really doesn't mean much. And like the flood are probably one of the biggest like just elements of Halo in general, especially that Combat Evolved the last half. Um, and speaking of the last half, something I'm a little concerned about, and I hope that they fix with this, this remaster. Because a remaster is, it's not really a remake. I'm not calling this game a remake because it's not. It really is just a advanced remaster where you know, it pays a lot of respects to the old game whilst changing it up where it's maybe not so monotonous. That's the word I would use for the last half of the game, because you're really just backtracking through the last like 3 levels, I think. No, 4, because you have 2 betrayals, keys, and then is it the mall? So maybe it is just 3. Um, the library in and of itself, I'm excited to see it remade because I'm not gonna lie, I actually do like that mission. A lot of people diss on it, but I like it. But like I get their gripes, and it would be really nice to see them, fleshed out. Cause that is my complaint with the library is it's just you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and it reminds me of like a COD Zombies map because you got these long hallways and you're just doing loops, man. You're not really doing loops, but like it is the same thing. Get to the elevator, you know. And you're just doing that over and over for like 4 times. But anyways, but yeah, no, I'm hoping that they take the opportunity with the whole remaster thing to like make the missions more tolerable, especially to newer players. Because this is coming to PlayStation, which first off is absolutely huge. I am really excited about that. A lot of people are going to get to play a game, that was never available to them, most likely. But no, I definitely think it's going to put a huge damper on the like new experience for PlayStation players if they realize that they're just backtracking. I think they definitely need to take the opportunity to make it different, give it a fresh coat, so to speak. Now, speaking of all of that, specifically the fresh coat part, my biggest gripe with this entire thing is the reused infinite assets. And if you watch any other video, I'm sure you've heard this about 1,000 times. So I'm not going to sit on it too long. It's just really annoying because it's the same mistake CE Anniversary made, and now they're doing it again. But I'm really hoping that they've listened to enough feedback to change that, or, at least maybe these are just placeholders. Because that's what I thought when I first watched it. I was like, these look like placeholders, and the cutscenes are not they're not like Blur Studio cutscenes like Halo 2 Anniversary. They're in-game engine from what I know. Um, I think I'll have to double check that, but don't quote me on it. So yeah, they're in-game cutscenes. So like that part where the zealot comes through the door, does his little growl. Surely that's not hard to replace with a different asset, right? Because I mean, if it's in game, all you got to do is change the model. But yeah, no, I'm hoping they kind of go back, at least for the most part on most of the models, they go back to the CE vibe. Because the Marines from CE, they're the CE Marines. You look at them, you're like, oh, I know these guys, you know. The Elites have probably my favorite design in the franchise in Halo Combat Evolved. Big time. But the Jackals, their shields look amazing. They look so phenomenal. I'm just not a fan of the reach animations for them. And that's another thing is all of the AI uses the Reach Blam engine, so they're all running off of like that pool of animations and behavior and whatnot, which is gonna make the game pretty difficult because Halo Reach, if you play that game on Legendary, it is atrocious. It is a living nightmare. Um, so if they're using that sort of difficulty level too, when it comes to this game, it is going to be a fun Legendary playthrough, that's for sure. Because Combat Evolved on Legendary is not hard at all. It's probably one of the easiest games. Um, but yeah, no, I like the overall behavior is nice. It's just change the models, man. Change the models. Give us like a really good looking CE Elite or something. Like I'd be super happy because those are just so clean. Oh yeah, and I know a lot of people dislike the fact that we're not getting a multiplayer with it, but honestly, for PlayStation's first game on it, it's really not that bad. I mean, CE was never like a big multiplayer thing. It was if you did LAN, but nobody's doing that this day and age. So, I mean, it's like it's not really that big of a complaint or that big of a deal, you know, just in my personal opinion. But I think overall, this is going to be a pretty good introduction for PlayStation players, um, for sure. And the 3 new levels are going to be hype. I don't really have much to say on them because I don't really know much about them, of course. I don't think anyone does right now. But yeah, I'm excited for those for sure. Most of all, I can't wait to get back on the Pillar of Autumn because that is one of my favorite levels from the entire franchise. Just being on the ship and experiencing like the full-on assault on the Autumn. Um, but yeah, no, man, I'm super excited, and that's about all I have to say. It's been like a 12-minute recording, but hopefully I can use most of it. Anyways, here soon I should have another video coming out, a lot similar to this, for a totally different game though. But yeah, recordings and video uploads might be a little slow for the most part, especially these more, um, talkative ones, just because it's a little bit harder to edit and takes more time up and everything. But yeah, that's about it.